Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and thank you for joining me here again today. So as you can see or not see, I am not in the frame of this video at all. I wanted to do this video a little bit differently because this was kind of a different type of video, and I know that the basis of the video is incredibly tragic in its own right. But to explain how different this video is, let me start from the beginning.
Intended for mature audiences only.
A few weeks ago, I was minding my own business, lying on my couch as usual, and I got an email from someone. And as a side note, thank you for everyone who does send me emails. I really do appreciate it. But anyway, I get this email from a lady and she wants to talk to me about something. And I open up the email and I start reading. And at first, the title of the email catches my attention right away, because the title of this email is I Escaped Gert Van Rooyen. And if you know who Gert Van Rooyen is, you know how incredibly terrifying this story is going to get. As a side note, I did do a video on Gert Van Rooyen a couple months ago, I think. If you would like to see that, I will link it up here for you if you would like some context of how terrifying this man is, or was. But Andriette, I just wanted to say thank you very much for sending me your story and for being so brave. And with that being said, let's get into Andriette's story. In the 1980s, Andriette was attending General Jacques Pinard Elementary School. She would walk home from school sometimes because she would forget to take her bus ticket, or she would lose it at school, as we all do. Andriette was walking home one day in Flower Street, Capitol Park, and she was quite close to home at this point, like 6 blocks or so not too far. But as she's busy walking, a white Ford Bantam Bucky passes her, and she sees this Bucky and she notices it because this guy decides to turn around and pass her a second time. And Andriette, being quite young, she thinks, oh, this man just wants directions. So the man kind of stops next to her, I assume pulls down the window, and he asks her if she wants to ride home. And this man then continues to say that he has kids and he just wants to make sure that she gets home safe and sound. And Andriette said that she was pretty tempted on this day. It was super hot and she was just tired of walking and she just had enough. But she said no thank you, and she kind of continues to walk. And she now sees that this man is getting angry, he's getting pissed off, and he starts getting out the car. And Andriette's like, nope, and she decides to run for it. So Andriette starts running, and she finds the nearest house. She jumps over the little fence, and she notices 2 black dogs there waiting for her. But Andriette was not caring at all. She ran through this garden, and she just wanted to get away from this terrifying man who clearly wanted her in this Ford Bantam Bucky. She runs through the garden, and she runs through the front door, who luckily was home to one of the girls she actually went to school with, and her name was Veronica. Veronica is home with her mother at the time, and Veronica's mother sits her down, and Andriette then tells Veronica's mother exactly what happened. She then asks if Andriette wants to call her mom and so that they can come and get her. But during this whole conversation, and while Andriette's trying to tell the story to Veronica's mom, they're kind of looking out the window, and this man in this Ford Bantam Bucky kept circling the block so many times, and he was angry. Like, when someone's angry in a car and they do jerking movements and they're just incredibly frustrated, that is the kind of image that I'm getting with this man raging in this Bucky. Veronica's mom is kind of contemplating whether they should call the police, and Andriette just didn't want that kind of drama, and she's like, no thank you. Andriette just wants to call her mom and just wants this all behind her. Veronica's mom then said, okay, but you have to tell them just to alert them because this is very weird, very suspicious, and this shouldn't be happening. Andriette then calls her mom, obviously shaken, obviously scared about what has just happened, and she said that she's at Veronica's house. But as she's kind of on the phone, Andriette's stepdad then pipes up and says, oh no, you need to walk home. Andriette, Veronica, and Veronica's mom are still looking out the window, they're still stressing, and obviously this is weird. So Andriette waits until she didn't see the creepy man in his Bucky anymore, and then she ran home down Flower Street. And she said she was just running down this road, hoping and praying that this man wouldn't catch up to her and find her and then get her. Andriette then gets home, panting, scared, and terrified, obviously, and she gets home and she describes to her mom and her stepfather about what happened that day. Andriette describes exactly what this man looks like and what the Bucky looked like. She could describe it to a T. Andriette was crying, shaking, and obviously out of breath about everything. And now that Andriette was in the comfort of her house and with her mom, she now wanted her mom and her stepfather to take her to the police station so that she could at least report this man. Sadly, both of them did not believe Andriette at all, and they said to her that she was lying and just looking for attention, and that she must know that if she's going to lie to the police, there will be serious consequences. Andriette kept pleading to her mom and saying that Veronica's mom was there and Veronica were witnesses to this. Please, can you just go talk to them? And they will describe to you this scary man who constantly circled the block looking for her. Eventually, after a lot of pleading, Andriette's mom eventually said, okay, we'll call the police and make a statement, but only if she knows that she's telling the truth. Andriette then begged her, crying and shaking, and she said that she's sure, she's not making this up, she 100% knows exactly what she saw. Andriette and her mom then went to the police station, and the police took down her statement, and they never followed up. They didn't care about it, and they didn't do anything about it. And sadly, Andriette said that from that moment on, she was traumatized. She was scared of walking down the street, and she just constantly had this reminder of this person who wanted to get her into his white bucky. Now remember, Andriette described perfectly what this man looked like. And for a lot of people who go through trauma, things that they witness in this trauma are cemented in their brain. So Andriette then describes that years later she was watching the news and she sees this man pop up. And he is exactly the same man who she described in his white bucky all those years ago. Andriette then said she started shaking and she went completely pale, and she had to now relive this incident again in her mind. Andriette says that she still remembers everything that she went through on that day, and sadly, her mom and her stepfather at the time had never apologized for what Andriette went through and for not believing her. And Andriette said that she was quite shocked about this man who stopped over in the bucky, because she said that Gert looked very friendly and he looked like someone who was caring and who actually wanted to make sure that she got home safe. And she said that he would speak Afrikaans to her, but the instant that she denied his advances or she said no to him, a switch kind of went off in Gert Van Rooyen's face, and his eyes were piercing, and she said that they felt like he was looking straight through her. It was just complete evil, and I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've seen someone flip and someone change, and it is terrifying. With a lot of Gert Van Rooyen's victims, they were blonde and they had a specific type of build, and also they looked a particular type of way. But Andriette had brown and shorter hair at the time. I mean, reading over Andriette's case, it's just disappointing because in a lot of cases internationally and in South Africa, it seems that a lot of the time when you report something to police, they wait until something happens in order to take action. So if you say you feel uncomfortable about this creepy man who wanted to put me in this bucky, they're like, ugh, well, he didn't, did they? And that's the kind of attitude that I feel like the police probably gave Andriette on that day. And it's very sad to know that a split decision by Andriette could have changed the whole course of her life. So once again, thank you, Andriette, very much for sending me your story. And I wanted to talk about the story because you never know who's out there as well who wants to bring their story forward. And I think because Gert got away for so many years, so blatantly, you don't know how many people he would have affected in those years. And talking about someone's story just may bring to life or bring a spark to someone to bring their bravery forward and talk about something that has happened. So like I said, this is a bit of a different case, just kind of a storytelling with me and Andriette. And once again, thank you, Andriette. And I hope that you guys all have a great day further. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.